doing this. So thank you for pushing me to my vision.
You're welcome. Even though I didn't know that's what I was doing, but God knows.
Because
what
you
He's doing.
followed yours.
Yeah, oh wow.
You never know who's watching you, so you must stay excellent.
Yes.
And you contacted me. Me having this vision, being this guru, being like Bill Cosby, sitting in a chair, talking intimately with the audience. You contacted me, and this is how we get in our own way. Hey, Simba, I got this thing, blah, blah, blah. Everything in my vision. First thing I thought to myself as my heart beat out my chest, no, I can't do it. I'm gonna find some excuse not to do it. But that was my vision. See how we get in our own way?
Yes.
God, for this tent and purposes, I said, let me calm down for a moment. This is what you wanted. You go. And like one great spiritual teacher I heard say, do it afraid. Because I could have done that, and tomorrow I'll be thinking about what could have been, since I've seen your pictures on social media this morning. And I could have been like, oh, I should have went. But now I could wake up tomorrow smiling because of you. Because of you, I can smile and say, I did it no matter what. Because it's easy to get in front of people when you're saying other people's words. But
Yes.
to be vulnerable in your own words is very hard.
Yeah.
You know, I've been an actor for 20-something years, started back in DC, back in 2001. Came out in 2003. And I think like most creatives, we always felt like the black sheep. We didn't fit in with our families. We always figured it was like, who are these people?
Really quickly, not to
Yes.
interject.
Yes.
For years, until I took a DNA test, I thought that maybe in the 70s, I was a baby that was switched in the hospital.
Yes.
I promise you, I really
Yes,
did.
I'm so
Yes.
glad you spoke of that, because
That's real.
I'm like, who are these people? I don't know these people. And growing up in DC, which had its own dysfunction on its own, and like most families, and particularly black families in the ghetto, is even more so. So skipping all of that, going right to the most pivotal point of my childhood was the crack epidemic. Out of all of my friends, I got one left. But, yes.
I'm sorry, sir. I heard you say out of your friends, you only have one left.
Yes.
I didn't get the first part. What happened to,
Well,
why is it one left?
Well, because living in DC where the crack epidemic really took a stronghold like it did on most black urban cities, all of my friends either died, were in jail, or they never were the same again. So I have one friend, his name is Eric, that he pretty much keeps me going and keep me grounded in this business that we're in, because there's really no playbook for it. You can take classes, you can do this and do that, but until you can meet the right people, and you can't meet the right people until you meet yourself. Because we spend so much time in this business trying to get ahead and try to move on, and scene study and character study, but we never do that for ourselves. And that's the thing that I found more interesting about acting. Because when I moved out here, you know, I had the American dream of America with 3 Ks. You know, I had the good government job, I had the nice house, nice town home with my brother, doing what we're supposed to be doing, but I was never happy. And I always felt that, my whole life, I've always felt that everyone was in on a joke that I didn't get, because I felt so out of place, which left me with the burden of generational curses, and from that PTSD, and from that anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts. I cannot remember a time in my life where I never had those thoughts come into my mind. Fast forward, later in life, I'm working for the government, and back in those days, there were people that would come to you in the mall. Yeah, let's talk about acting or being a model. You know, I'm thinking of some bullshit, so I'm like, okay. And I was with 2 of my friends, and I'm like, okay, man, she's on that bull. She snatched it from me and said, no, I'm talking to you. Have you ever thought about it? I said, yes. I said, I'll take your card. So I took it home, threw it in the trash. Because I'm like, what was this about? So I had a good friend from New York. You know, New Yorkers will tell you the truth on everything.
Yeah.
Their life is like word is born.
Mhm.
And so I said, I'm gonna call my friend Leslie. And I said, well, I had this woman come up to me and she said, you ever thought about acting? You'll look great in movies and things of this nature.
She was right.
And thank you. And so my friend Leslie said the same thing. She said, well, just give it a shot.
Mhm.
So I went in, and basically at that time, they were looking to increase their ethnic roster. So they waived all the fees and things of that nature. So I went in for the audit. They give you a script and give you a scene to go over. You go back in and perform it. And from that, when we get hit with that bug, there's no coming back. I don't care what you try to do. It is not going away. You can sleep in your car. You can sleep in your car twice. And it's something, you can go back home. You can fit back into the life, but you can't fit back into that life.
Nope.
Every time I go back home now, I'm like, who are these people?
Mhm.
Because you've grown so much out of yourself. So once I did that monologue, I said, oh, I'm home. This is what I'm supposed to do. So right there, I just started sending out resumes and pictures and things of that nature to different agencies. And one called me out of Baltimore. He said, well, come on in, let's have a talk. And I was non-union at the time, and he said, so what do you want to do in 5 years? I'm like, you know, this is some bull. I'm like, this is like regular work, what are you talking about? And I just threw it out there. I said, I want to move to Hollywood. He said, okay, I'm gonna make me a promise. Because you have a look, and it's not gonna work around here.
Mhm.
Promise me that I get your SAG card, you'll move within 2 years.
Mm.
Promise. I mean, I got a good government job, pension, 401k, like, I'm not gonna do that. So he called me and said, man, if we, this great show coming to Baltimore, we need stand-ins, and you all know what stand-ins are, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
And he said, they need a, they saw your pictures, but you need to be union. So this will make you union. He said, if I give you the job, you gotta move in 2 years, it's 2001. And he says, there's a show called The Wire. And I stood there for all those cats that everybody's drooling over now.
Mhm.
These was when that first started out. So I started working on that show, and the more I worked on that show, the more I was missing work. My good government job. They're like, hey, we need you today. Okay, bye. I'm sick, I can't get in. I can't do it. So in that time, you know, to go real quickly through it, I ran into a woman who did lingerie shows, so I became a lingerie model. And from there, I did, remember they had those wedding, convention weddings where, you know, you go and you see people try on dresses and different
Yeah.
tuxedos, and I became that. And all this time I'm taking these acting classes and still doing my government job, and I'm like, man, this is wonderful. But yet because of all my mental issues, I was still shy. I was doing these things out, but inside I'm like, I can't live like that. So the group that I knew from the wedding gig was a group called Mantasia. On the weekends in Baltimore, they would do exotic shows. They were strippers.
Oh.
Me, I'm shy. I'm like, oh, this is so stupid. And I would just tease them. Hey, man, I'm down. Y'all need somebody? Put me in. I'm coming. And one fateful Saturday, I forgot his name, but he said, you been bullshitting. I said, he said, man, look, we got a spot open tonight. We got your costume. All you gotta do is bring down your music. Heart pounding. But I was so shy, and I knew the acting classes wasn't working. And in the rationality of my mind, I said, if I could get naked in front of a bunch of women, cure it. It did work. So I go to the show, and there's a path that you have to go so the women don't touch you. I didn't know, no one told me. So I go straight through the crowd on my first time out. Stripped down to my G-string before I even could get up and do a dance. And I came back and said, I'm home. I figured this out. It's done. So 2003 come around, the agent said, okay, it's 2003. What do you want to do? And by that time, I was hosting a local video show, along with working on the wire and doing some things like that. And I said, okay, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave the comfort zone because I'm not happy here. So it's not really a comfort zone. So I went down to the personnel office and said, well, I'll quit. Don't you wanna just say, no, cash me out now. Give me all my money, I'm gone. And you know our families, they don't want us in this. You're crazy. So I knew that.
Last night.
Yes. So I took a month off, I quit, and I just sat around the house for a month, preparing myself. I'm listening to The Secret, I'm listening to Bernard Beckwith. I'm like, I'm getting in The Secret, baby. Tony Robbins, Wayne Dyer, Joyce, T.D. Jakes. I was listening to them all to just get my mind ready. So I said, I know I can't tell my father because he's gonna talk me out of it. So I planned on leaving on a Monday. Me and my father would meet at my brother's house and watch the Skins game. Halftime. I said, oh, by the way, I'm going to California tomorrow. Oh, you going for a visit? I said, no, I'm moving. He couldn't say anything. And I didn't hear from him on my whole trip until I hit the Vegas sign. He called me. Man, I wish you luck. That's all he had to do. So I get out here. I had a girlfriend of mine that I was staying with. That didn't work out. First time sleeping in my car. I said, because it's almost like that Bible quote, it's better to have peace in an attic
Yeah.
than in a mansion with a nagging wife or husband, you know, whatever's your thing. And I did that. Still wasn't in my career. I was still doing odd jobs and things of that nature. And someone introduced me to Central Casting. Because I was doing the acting class and things like that, but I wasn't really feeling what I was getting. I need hands-on. I'm never good with technical in the class. And they always tell you, because they want your money, don't do extra work. Don't do this, don't do that. I said, bump them, I'm going to do this extra work. Which was a blessing because right along to Rizzolian Isles, the old CSI, all those jobs of me being an actor on those jobs came from me being excellent at where I was. Man, you're good at this being a cop, you're good at this playing this and showing your presence. Come in for this one line. So it's like, you can't listen to everybody. You gotta listen to here. And I'm so glad that I did that. Because if I hadn't, I would have been just in class over and over again. And nothing wrong with that. But you don't get to the self-analyzation of yourself. Because you're always like going back, scene study, this, that. But who are you? And once you know who you are, once you become empathic enough of who you are, it is no role you can't play. There's nothing you can't do. Because what it does to me in those classes was making me so mental. Okay, am I standing right? Am I talking right? You got that weird DC accent. I said, well, hold up. Have you heard Chris Rock?
Yeah.
What's wrong with my voice if you letting that pass? So it's about finding that comfortability in yourself. And you know, you have those mental issues that I spoke of before, and they never really go away. You could find things, I don't know, it's just something the way we're wired, empaths. You just don't want to be here, you don't fit in. You just always on the outside looking in. And then over the past 5 years, as we all know, was a lot for all of us. I created in myself an autoimmune disease because I took in all this bad energy and I couldn't help it because I'm an empath.
Yes.
You know, whether it was Black Lives Matters, Floyd, Trump, whatever it was for you in that moment, everybody was suffering.
COVID.
And I took COVID, and we took all of that, and I took all of that in. And my body swelled up to almost like over 200 pounds, but it was all fluids. My eyebrows fell out, I mean, it was just a terrible situation. And it brought me back to my childhood because there was still some wounds I needed to fix. So I was going through the mental things again. It was like, I just want to die. But I'm too much of a punk to die. Because if it don't work, then I got to deal with this plus, you know, whatever didn't work out for me trying to kill myself. And that just took me into a deeper depression. I lost all my friends. It was like it was just me. Kelly, my friend, I've known her for over, 20 years. You know, when I was in DC, she was in Indianapolis. And now she works as my manager. And she knew all the things I was going through. She knew the times I was sleeping in my car. But she always supported me, just like Eric. It wasn't ever like, man, maybe you should give it up. I mean, they almost act like it wasn't happening. I'm like, don't you know what But that's the love they gave me, like, man, you gotta just figure this thing out. You know, so like these past few years, I'm coming to a better realization of myself. And if these past 5 years didn't happen, I wouldn't have the nerve to sit up here now. Just to be in God. Because yesterday I put up your flyer on my social media accounts, and someone sent something back to me that was so poignant. It was, just open your mouth and let God speak for you. I get chilled when I think about that. It's like, I don't know what I'm gonna say. I don't know what's gonna touch, but I'm gonna speak from my heart. And all of you got a story. If you sitting in here, you had a vision in you to say, I'm gonna change the world.
Absolutely.
And then you get out there,
Yeah.
everywhere you go, you know, the stereotypes.
Mhm.
But they think that you should be. So that's why a festival like this is so important. What you did. I mean, it's just, we was talking about it on the way over here, it's just amazing what you have done that they had never thought to dip their hands into. Theater plus film. They don't even recognize them.
No.
But you recognize that they're creative genius in all the genres, and everybody gets a voice. So that's just a beautiful thing. So I didn't want to take up too much time talking, but I want to
No, I'm
talk with you
enjoying,
too.
I'm loving this. Just, I'm smart, quickly.
Mhm.
Just like the film we screened earlier, I know 9 times out of 10, a lot of festivals will just decline that film. But
Yes.
because I have a background in theater, I
Mhm.
appreciated it because I know what a real monologue is. I
Right.
know what it's like to recite a monologue, and I know how, well, I'm not an actor, I don't get no ideas. But I'm a director, and I appreciate wonderful actors and
Right.
actresses. So, to me, that was poignant. I'm talking about the particular one with
Yeah.
the one that Kenny Bruce said he didn't understand.
Yeah.
Some of the dialogue I didn't necessarily understand, but I understand the overall narrative she was trying to spin was metamorphosing into a bee, you
Mhm.
know? So I got that. This is a piece that we played before you got here, Moses.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I said, my first film, Maggie, was technically experimental. It wasn't a traditional film, even though it did extremely well on the
Mhm.
festival. It won 17 awards. But it wasn't a traditional film, you know,
Right.
like having dialogue with other people.
Right.
Maggie's in the bathroom telling a story about how she became homeless and
Mm.
how basically letting us know through her own words how she became a paranoid homeless,
Right.
paranoid schizophrenic.
Right.
So, because my first film was experimental,
Mhm.
I'm more open to other festivals that probably would just, no, you know, and then I have a background in theater too.
Right.
So, I really appreciate you acknowledging my heart and
Yes.
why I created this, you know, because
Yes.
that film in particular is the reason why I was led to do what I'm doing, you know, so.
And it's so beautiful. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Alexander, we're at 12 minutes left.
Okay.
Okay.
This is fascinating.
Mhm.
So can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Of you. This is really nice. Yeah.
Please
What
do
is
that
your
to me.
spiritual orientation? Do you consider yourself Christian? Because it really hit my heart when you said you weren't happy.
Mhm.
You said the comfortability factor. You said you wanted to die. And those are things I've dealt with.
Yes, we do.
So I guess you said you were shy.
Mhm.
Do you have a relationship with God?
Yes, and not in the traditional sense. God
Yeah.
is God.
Mhm.
Grew up Baptist like most of us, first, second, Pentecostal, whatever. And I realized religion is going through someone else's experience. Spirituality is you going through the experience,
Mhm.
right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So I had to put that down for a little bit. That takes a lot.
But you mentioned the spiritual, the
Yes.
inside you.
Yes.
And that's what I was talking about.
Right.
Your spirituality is the God.
Is the God in you? Exactly.
Because I kind of do that. I look for people, I look to be validated. I want to have friends. And people let me down.
Yes.
It hurts.
Yes, I've
So
been
you
there.
become very,
Yes, I've been there, and because you deal with these mental capacities as a black man, as a black woman, I would say this even if there was other nationalities in here, we deal with a different type of thing.
Yes, sir.
And the
Period.
fact that we can have this open dialogue about this now as brothers, as sisters. And I'm not talking about just color, because everybody goes through some type of situation. Humanity. And what I learned from putting that down for a minute and say, okay, who's the God inside of me? Not what someone else is telling me. And because of that, I can sit down with anyone, even an atheist who don't believe in anything, and still love them. Because my religion is not end all be all like most religions are to divide. You never hear spiritual war. It's always religious wars.
Yes.
That's true.
So you just stay open, and it's like now I can just talk and love upon anybody. Because I'm not protecting the Jesus gold. I'm not protecting the Buddha gold. We're all just trying to figure that thing out.
So what got you over you wanting to die? Obviously, you dealt with that
Mhm.
internal spirituality, and you don't feel that way at all.
Well, I think, when you're an empath, which wasn't a term used back then, where you just feel so much,
Yes.
and you just feel everything, and you still, because of the plight of the world, you still feel these things. You still don't want to be here. I still don't want to be here. I still have those thoughts. But it's that thing in here that's keeping me going. It's the thing in here that kept me still trying to work out when my leg, this was as big as this, and I'm trying to walk around the track. That was that God essence pushing me.
Absolutely.
I couldn't have done it on my own. I'm going around the track and I'm like almost crawling. Now I can do 4 or 5 laps around. But it's that connected to that. Like you said, everything was letting me down. Even religion to a certain extent.
Yes.
So I'm like, these stories are not about me. Well, they are. They just told us that they weren't. And I knew that, but you could never express that. You put a black Jesus up. Who's that? That's Jesus. No, it's not.
So I wanted to
Good.
touch on 2 things that you said really quickly.
Mhm.
First off,
Yes.
about you developing autoimmune disease.
Mhm.
You are the first person that I've heard, because I went through that too.
Oh, wow.
And I tell people that you can take on the energy of toxic people and it can develop autoimmune diseases.
Exactly.
I went through that for years. For years,
Mm.
every other month I was in the doctors. They were testing me for
And they didn't
lupus,
know what it was, did
testing me
they?
for rheumatoid arthritis. I too
Mhm.
had my legs swell up for months. I was on a cane. It was so swollen. I
almost
could
on a
not
cane.
bend it. I couldn't even bend my leg. I had to drag it because it was so
Same
big
way.
and so swollen.
Oh.
And then even when the swelling went down, it was still bigger than the other one. So
Yes.
for a long time, I was like, am I gonna be deformed? So
Mhm.
you go through all these depressions
Yes.
because it takes your energy away.
Mm.
You can't just live your life. Like my hair was falling out. I went
Yes.
through all of that
Yes.
because I realized that it was an energetic war. It was a spiritual war
warfare.
that I was fighting.
Mhm.
I had to pull away from all the toxic people,
Yes.
places, and things in my life. And so you go through this purge,
Yes.
you know? And I remember when I started to heal myself, I went to the doctor. My doctors didn't even recognize who I was
No, they
because I
didn't.
looked so different. I have now had my doctors sitting down talking to me
Mhm.
about what I did to heal myself. They want to know what I did.
Beautiful.
Because as a doctor, they don't have the
They don't have
answers.
the spiritual
You see what I'm
answer.
saying? But they respect what I did
Mhm.
for myself. And right now in my chart, it says patient has been taking herbal tea blends and has
Mhm.
been advised to continue to do so. They don't even try to give me their medication no more.
Wow, that's what happened to me as well.
Right, I'm off all medicines.
Yes.
And I know it has to do with my relationship with my spirituality
Yes.
and keeping my environment good.
Keeping
And
it
being
very
surrounded
good.
by good people.
Oh, and
And-
then it's so important.
Yeah, and then you talked about how you realize all of your experiences, you wouldn't be the person sitting here today. So there's a book called The Alchemist by Pablo
I
Coelho.
just read that. Wow. That's
Beautiful
deep.
book.
I just read
And
that
it's
recently.
really that story.
Yes.
Where you realize that even though you thought the journey was gonna take 3 months, and you look up, it's 10, 15 years later, you realize without all those side journeys that God took you on, you wouldn't have even been able to receive the treasure once you got there.
What was the name of that book?
Huh?
The Alchemist.
What's the name of
The,
that book?
the Alchemist,
Alchemist, what is his name? I
by
never- I always
Pablo
listen-
Coelho.
There you go.
How do you spell that? It is AL something.
Yeah.
ALCHEMIST.
Yeah, very excellent book.
Excellent. I mean,
It is.
and
It's
what you
phenomenal.
said is my journey. We reflection. Everybody's here, but we
Yes, so
reflection because we
tried.
went through
Yes.
the same journey.
I love that.
And in losing those people, like you lost those energetic people, and it's funny because when you look at the Bible or any story, the great men or women always set apart with an affliction. The story of Job.
The story of
Oh,
Job.
wow,
You
that's so
literally
deep.
can
That's
sit
really-
yourself in different people
Yes.
in the Bible and pull from their experience to know that you'll get through. And it's that
Exactly.
it helps to build your faith to just
Exactly.
keep going. Because I'm not a religious person.
Right.
I'm a spiritual person.
Right.
I read the Bible
Mhm.
and the story of Job always clung to me.
Yes.
I didn't know that I would be a person
That-
that would lose everything.
That you will be a
That I
Job
would
story.
lose everything. And in my faith in God,
Mm.
people think that I'm crazy because I wake up every day still striving to know what I know that God told me,
Yes.
despite how it looks.
Yes.
You know?
We were
So-
called to Mecca. We was
Yes.
called here to do something.
Yes.
Whatever that is, I don't even know anymore. And I still want to be an actor, but us sharing our stories, sister,
Yeah.
of how we got over. And then you got the medical community, the AMA. 20 years of schooling. They come and you talking about, how'd you do it? That's our gifts. It might not be the $30 million man or woman and the things you got to go through to get that. It's to be, it's going to be a teacher. And I'm finding more joy in that.
And a healer.
And a healer. Because as empaths, which we all are, whether you're a musician, a sports figure, these outward jobs or careers calls for that type of empathy, which the world does not have at all right now.
No, they don't.
And we have to be that as creatives. Right here, this is a spot that we're touching everyone. My brother just got a new book to read. We're touching on another.
You gonna make me get up and run. Like they do in church when they get happy.
I'm about to get up and
Jumping
run.
I contain myself.
I'm about to get up and run. But like I said, just going back to you, Pachanda, it's like, just sitting here, I've always envisioned this. You know, not the Bill Cosby we know, but the pudding pop Bill Cosby, when he did his stand-up routine sitting down. It always touched me how he would just do that, connect with the people, and keep them entertained for 90 minutes. And back then, it wasn't many of us in the audience.
No.
But he was able to do that. And I said, man, to have that kind of presence, you really have to know yourself. Know thyself.
And to have gone through some things. Sometimes, excuse my language, you gotta go through some shit.
Oh,
to
it
be
is.
effective in other people's lives.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, that's a huge part of the journey I think people misconstrue.
Yeah.
And I tell Monique this all the time, she's one of my closest friends.
Beautiful.
Our experience is not for us, and I don't mean that in a religious way, I mean that just on some real shit.
Yeah.
We go through in order for us to heal and heal other people. Because you can reach a nation of men and women that a man that has never been through nothing can't reach, no matter
Yeah.
what his educational background
Exactly.
is, no matter what his family lineage is. This particular man can't reach a certain nation of men that you can,
Mhm.
because you spoke on mental illness, you spoke
Yes.
on being discouraged, you spoke
Mhm.
on being sick. There's some people have never been through any of that, and you also spoke about homelessness.
Yes.
I can speak on that because I've been through that.
Right.
For
Most
7
great
years
times,
straight.
yeah.
You speak of sleeping in your car for, I don't know how long you were, I slept in my car for 7 years.
Oh, I haven't spent pretty much that long too. But it's
And I'm
something
still
we can-
recovering physically, having had to do that. And I'm
Yes.
talking about as of recent. I was
Trust
homeless
me.
until December 2021. Me and my son.
Wow.
I was still producing, I was still directing, I was still driving from San Francisco every week to this theater to secure my legendary residency. So people see the glory, but they don't know your story.
They don't know-
And I've never spoken publicly
Ooh.
about that until just now.
And see,
The whole
They don't know the
time-
grind.
look how
Yes.
we teaching
Yes.
each other. That's beautiful. But you never lost that fire. That God speaking to you, that God is inside of you speaking to you. Because once you bring those two halves together, the male and the feminine in you,
Because we have both energies.
we have both energies. And for us to be able to speak on this type of level, like you said, we can reach people. Like, we don't talk about mental illness in our community. We don't talk
Unfortunately,
about
not
being
enough,
sick
no.
and all these type of things,
Mhm.
but like you said, I can reach people at that level. You can
Yes.
reach people at that level. You can, all of us can.
Mhm.
And that is the real reason to be a storyteller, you know, so. That's the real reason to be a storyteller. We call it an actor.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
One thing I just have to say is, my constant reminder to Jabari and myself is, we did not come this far to
Mm.
come this far.
Absolutely.
So
You
there
can
is
always tell me
never a plan B for either one of
No.
us and what
Yes,
we're doing.
That's it, no plan
And what
Bs.
we've been doing as business partners all these years,
Mhm.
there is no plan B. So if we fail where we are, where we
feel-
stand.
Yes.
We did not come this far to come this far.
And thank you for bringing that up, because that was she would tell me when I was, okay, good night, get in the backseat of my car. You know?
I was in the front seat of mine, so.
But even in those moments, I found a reason to praise God, because it was like, I might not have this, but it's raining outside. I got shelter from the elements.
Yes.
I can still get to work.
Mhm.
You know, I could just shower at the gym, give me a reason to go work out. So it was those type of things that kept me, because I would pass people on the street that was like below me,
Mhm.
quote unquote. And I'm like, I can still fake it till I make it.
You can turn on your car to get heat.
Yes,
Turn on
or
the car to
AC,
get air. Yep.
exactly. So I still try to find, like, I still trust you. Like the gospel song, I still trust you.
Mhm.
I still trust you, because there was no going back. There was no plan B. And that's what it has to be for all of us, because there's more for us to do. I don't know what it is, but it all is to be in this little room right here, right now, to say that our mission is not in vain, that we are supposed to go out there to help people. If you want to set, fine, but no, there's still other things for us to do, like this,
As creators, that's right.
as creatives, this. And you,
Oh,
Yes.
I was talking.
Oh, it's just moving how, and I apologize, I just.
oh no, you came in right when you're supposed to, sister. No, I'm sorry, but would you just want to say something? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Just the level of transparency.
Yes.
It's, keeping it real.
Mhm.
Yes, and you know, and the thing about it, I told myself that if you fail in front of people,
Mhm.
because then it doesn't sting as much when you fail the next time.
Mhm.
So it's like, I've never done this before, but from this I learned. And I always
Well, it
say,
sure don't seem like it. See, that's how you know it was destined.
thank you,
Mhm.
yes. And it's like, I just want to be able to share and to just give and just to love. And not just like, I love you like boy for girl, but
Mhm.
I love you, brother, love you. Without feeling weird about it,
Mhm.
because we don't get that love. I see, you know, you travel and you see white men, women, men of other nationalities hugging and kissing their sons, and I'm like, wow. So when I see a brother, I'm like, hey man, if it comes to, hey brother, I love you. I appreciate you, I see you.
That could save somebody's whole life.
Yes.
That could prevent somebody from
Yes.
killing themselves,
It is so true.
even down to a smile.
That's all
And
it
as
takes.
creators, we are just different people, period.
We're just
you know?
we're different animals,
it's
and
just
we
a
know
different
it.
look. You had something, Keith?
Oh, yeah, this is so fascinating. Now, I know that we're taking a break at 7.
Mhm.
Are you staying here for the rest of the day?
I'm
Yeah.
here's on my manager, so we just hanging out. I'm feeling love now.
Yeah.
I was gonna suggest we have an intermission, because I know we have to get back to our film.
Yes, we
But
do.
we have an intermission at 7 from 7 to 7:30, half hour. It would be
You wanna
fantastic.
do it again?
Yes, that's what
Do
I'm
it
trying to
again.
get.
Why not? Do it again.
But before
stay.
we go, my,
Yes.
oh God, this is
Thank you,
happening.
Kenny Brew, that's a great suggestion.
That's
Okay,
beautiful.
my thing is you talking about trusting God
Mhm.
and continue to praise God.
Mhm.
Is it hard to continue to praise God because of the whole spirituality? When you've been betrayed by people and
Mhm.
done so wrong,
Mhm.
where you're almost going to go to jail for trying to
Yes.
retaliate.
Yes.
Then how do you continue to praise God? God didn't do it to you.
Right.
They did.
Right.
You
But
just
see,
answered
with-
your own
Can I
question.
answer
Yes.
that?
Yeah, please.
So, one of the things that helped me to get through things,
Mhm.
honestly, was the fact that I read the Bible.
Yes.
The story of Job
Mm-hmm.
really helped me
Yes.
to get through that transition and
Mhm.
phase. When I looked up and found so many people that I had loved and trusted
Yes.
turned against me, because one of the things in the story,
You just
Job's
have to walk in
own
your
wife
faith.
Yes.
Mhm.
mocked him for his faith in God.
Yeah.
And that's almost like what you go through when you start to lose these people. You know the vision that God gave you,
Mhm.
and you elevate it into that power. Those people are staying stuck.
And
So
they
they
still
become
do.
a mocker
Yes, they do.
of
Yes, they
your
did.
faith, basically, because you know what God gave you, and you're
Exactly.
moving in that energy.
Just like
You
people
know?
told me this festival wouldn't work. How you gonna do theater
Look what we
and
do.
film?
Look what
How
we
you
doing.
gonna
Look
do
what we
that?
doing.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't wait
It's
for
not gonna work,
nobody.
Chanda. You don't have the funding. You don't have this. How you gonna do theater? That don't make no sense to me. I
Mm.
said, just watch me.
And keep doing it.
Mhm.
Right.
You gonna have people running out and
Huh?
trying to get in here.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, but another thing too,
Absolutely,
to
yeah.
be able to keep that when you have people that hurt you and still was able to praise God, I took on some of the responsibility of why they acted that way.
Why they
Meaning,
hurt you?
Yes.
meaning that they were my reflection. They were bringing up the shadow work I needed to do on myself.
Mhm.
Even, you know, like, if someone was like, a woman was being very possessive with me,
Mhm.
I had to look at myself and be like, but damn, I'm possessive too.
Mhm.
So I started sharing the responsibility of them hurting me instead of just playing the whole victim.
Okay, I see the video, I
Yeah.
get that a lot, and I
Yeah.
get resentful.
Yeah.
When people fire you, have you fired, they lie behind your
Mhm.
back, they're conniving.
Yes,
They're evil.
yes.
How am I part of that?
But see the thing about it,
Can I'll answer that.
get them. That's a beautiful question.
He probably wanna
Thank you.
hear from me because I've told him this a million times already.
Mhm.
You know how kids don't wanna listen to their parents?
Right.
I told you this before too.
Mhm.
But a perfect stranger can come tell them their little ass is the same thing.
Yes,
And then
I've
they'll
been through
listen.
that. I've
So
been
I'm
through
gonna
that.
tell you again, how you participate in that is surrounded, you need to vet who you connect to, the projects you connect to,
Mhm.
and not just, okay, I have to pay my bills, and we all understand that.
Mhm.
But when you choose things on a spiritual level, even when it comes to your artistic assignment, you prevent from those things happening to you.
Mhm.
So that's how you participate in it. Like he said, shadow work within yourself. Hey, baby,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you understand what I'm saying? It's just like, let me make it plain.
Mhm.
It's like, as a single woman, dating.
Yes.
I vet the hell out of who I'm willing to invest my time, energy, space from.
You gotta earn
You gotta be on some real shit for me to even call you. You
You say
understand?
that, you mean
That means,
examine?
that means examine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a, you know, that's it.
So basically, like the Chris Richards, I didn't examine.
Enough.
Because betrayal,
And
after
listen.
years.
Yes.
See, but listen, that's your,
But
hold on, wait, no, I
yeah,
gotta finish,
yeah.
I gotta finish, hold on, baby. You participate in it because when he showed you who he was the first time, you
Yes.
continue to do it.
Right, that's
And
the
you, and
point
you
I
know
was
what?
gonna
You know
make.
what?
Hold on.
Because the Bible said you're supposed to forgive, and you 70 times 70.
No, the
So-
Bible, the Bible
Do you
don't.
But in
listen, no.
forgiving, you don't have to allow people the space
To come back
And
and
see,
do.
that's where
Exactly.
religion comes
Okay.
in. We were talking about the difference between
being
religion and
spiritual
Christian.
and religion.
Right.
Spirituality.
Religion takes what the Bible says and uses it as control and manipulation.
Exactly.
That's another way of training. That's the reason why a lot of people are walking away from Christianity.
Yeah.
Because, and
Yes.
this is no shade or nothing, but I'm just keeping it real. Because it's been used so much to manipulate and control and
Yes.
take advantage of people.
Yes.
So that, to answer your question, that's how you participate in it, because when people show you who they are
Mhm.
from the first time,
Mhm.
I don't care how much you need that
You
money.
need to believe.
Yes.
What
It's
Bia
one
Rich,
time.
what
right.
Bia Richards
Yeah,
says.
yeah, you,
That's right.
like we allow, like when you forgive people and then you allow them to continue to have access to you, you have taught them how to disrespect you.
Absolutely.
This is something that I had to learn myself too. So even in this
So not
last
about giving
few
anybody
months,
chances
right?
again?
No, you don't give them a chance.
Hell
You can
no.
forgive them and then you move on
Okay.
because you should have known better. How many times do you have to go to people and apologize for things you knowingly did? None.
Yes.
Because you respect those people.
Of course.
You see what I'm saying? So why should you expect any less respect from anybody else? You should know better.
And what goes around
that-
comes around,
Right,
and
that's
karma.
right. That's how we have to do it. I had to learn that with him myself because I was
Yes.
so forgiving to where in 2018, when I met her, she didn't even know it, but I literally had lost everything that I owned because of the people in my life. I did retreat for a few weeks and go through my little sadness, but there was a moment where I realized it was me. I allowed these people to continue to be in my life when they showed me a long time ago who they were.
Hold on, I gotta
Yeah.
talk, I gotta talk to my boy, hold on sis, because you are a legend. You are a legend in this industry.
You are, Kitty Boo.
Period. Okay?
Thank you.
Take
You
that
are-
in, brother.
hold
No,
on.
take that in.
You are a legend. And from this day forward, I want you to understand that you're a legend. Sometimes we don't realize who we are because we've been so abused and beat down. You tell these, excuse me, this is how I
Speak,
talk.
baby. Come on out.
I'm not gonna be on a project with this person. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This person that has hurt you.
Yeah.
Who basically does the same thing you do and has gotten these gigs because you put him on,
I
right?
put him on.
You tell them, listen, if you want me, you can't have him on here, period.
Then I don't work.
No, you're gonna work. because
What's
you're a
for
legend.
you is for you.
You're gonna work because you're a legend. You've already sown seeds. Did you know I was gonna call you for the festival?
No, I didn't.
Okay, period.
No.
You-
I
you-
knew it
listen,
was God when you called
You
me.
planted your seeds already, Kenny Brew. How long you been in this industry?
I'm old.
How long have you been in this industry?
30 years.
Okay, your phone ain't gonna stop ringing, okay? So vet each project, find out who's attached to it. And if the certain people are attached to it, listen, these are my terms. If this person is connected to it, then I'm a pass. And you know what's gonna happen? They're gonna sit there and think, wait a minute now, Kenny Brew good at this, wait a minute. So would I rather lose Kenny Brew or would
They know I
rather-
hustle.
You heard right. You heard how Red Fox manager
listening to
did
me?
that. He need 500,000.
500,000.
Right, or he ain't working.
Yeah.
Period.
This is how I want you to see yourself.
I need a manager like his manager.
This is what I'm trying to get you to understand. You've sown the seeds, Kenny Brew. Ain't nobody else in this whole Black Hollywood has put in much work as you have in your field. So I need you to
That's
understand.
because of God. God works through me.
It's because of God, but it's also because of the work you've done. Christians need to, it's wonderful to give God praise. But
Right.
when you've labored and done the work, now it's okay to pat yourself. You
That's
got up.
not being egotistic.
No,
Oh.
you got up. You made these connections.
Yeah.
You've done all these thousands of shows, big award shows. You know, God gave you the strength, but Kenny Brew put in the work. And it's okay to say that.
That's good. Kenny Brew did
Okay.
put in the work.
Write that down, brother. You need
Listen,
that.
so that we'll refine,
Yeah,
we'll
we
go
got,
back.
yes.
Okay.
And it
She
goes-
has one
you
more
gotta
question.
keep him here.
It goes back
I
to
think she had a statement.
Go
what,
ahead, baby.
what he and I had a brief conversation about earlier. But let me go back to the two winners of the awards, the actors. They talked about drawing that line in the sand. When you get an assignment, dang it, you draw that line in the sand at that time. This is what I will accept, this is what I won't. Don't allow anyone to cross that. That's one thing. And then number two, it goes back to what you and I were talking about, your brand. You already have a brand.
Yes.
He's known for this, and this. Marketing and branding, I'm a marketing and branding manager.
Yes.
Marketing and branding yourself lets others know what to expect from you. If your brand speaks for itself before you walk in the door, you're good. Nobody's gonna walk on you and nobody's gonna cross that line in the sand.
Can it be Ramsey taking negative? I know we gotta start back, because one of the biggest things about me, I call Kenny, but he's too expensive. And it's like, well, the thing about it, I will negotiate.
It's your worth. No, you
No,
won't.
you know,
It's
no.
your worth.
You will not.
If you don't
Right.
value my worth, you don't need me. Something else will come along.
I mean, just like
Never
the
look
brother-
at it
yeah.
like it's about the money, because it's not. It's about my brand. People know when they deal with Kelly McDaniels and she's got an assignment, she's coming through.
Yes.
She's coming through.
Yes,
He's coming through.
Yeah.
yes.
I don't care how much we're paying him what he asked for because he's worth it.
Thank you. I received it.
Your brand speaks for itself.
You need to write a
That's
script,
it.
you know,
Well,
unless they
that's
have.
how we do it.
Exactly.
You feel it, and this happened for all of us. So thank you for accepting me.
For
And just like in the
musicians and,
movie,
artists now.
Spencer,
That's one of me.
Eddie Murphy was the biggest star at that time.
Yes.
And he said, if you don't give
That's
me
what I
half a
do.
meal, he walks.
Yeah.
He knew.
Sorry,
and
my
he
hand
knew
is
Red
holding
Fox was
this.
way out of business pretty much at that time. He didn't, you see, he didn't back down on that 500 grand. did he?
Right.
And Eddie came around.
Oh, yeah, fine.
Because at that time, you don't get out of an Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy calls you, you do it for free. At that time, that's why they allowed him to direct, because he was the biggest thing. So remember that,
Yeah.
$500,000. I'm not going less than that. I don't care what you say. Now, if it's a project you love,
Yeah.
that's different.
That you would do for
Right.
free.
Yeah.
And that, and
That's
right.
different.
And you're doing it for someone that you would do
Oh, yeah,
something
yeah,
like that
yeah,
for.
we-
you
yes,
know?
yeah,
We
we
all got
definitely-
folks that we, that will be.
If our assembly,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Wow. This is, thank you, really.
Yes.
And we're gonna do it again later.
Hey, we here, we could chop it up a little bit more.